The aroma of roasted turkey and pumpkin spice usually filled our home on Thanksgiving, a scent that always meant laughter, warmth, and family. But this year, the air was thick with a different kind of spice resentment. My parents, once the pillars of our boisterous gatherings, hadn't spoken a civil word to each other in months. The tension was a silent, unwelcome guest at a table set for 12, but only occupied by three: me, my mom, and my dad. We moved around the kitchen like strangers, the clatter of silverware the only sound breaking the heavy silence. Mom meticulously arranged the mashed potatoes, her jaw set in a tight line. Dad stared out the window at the falling autumn leaves, his shoulders slumped. I tried to fill the void, chattering about my classes, a new movie, anything to stitch together the frayed edges of our family. But my words just fell into the emptiness, swallowed whole. Dinner was a somber affair. Each bite felt heavy, each glance across the table loaded with unspoken accusations and years of hurt. I remember thinking, this isn't Thanksgiving. This is just a Thursday in November. My heart ached, not for the joyful Thanksgivings of the past, but for the love I knew still existed somewhere beneath the layers of pride and pain. I missed my parents. I missed us. Just as I was about to give up and retreat to my room, the doorbell rang. Its chime was so sudden, so out of place in the quiet gloom, that all three of us froze. We weren't expecting anyone. My mom and dad exchanged a confused look, the first real communication they'd had all day. I walked to the door, my curiosity piqued, and peered through the peephole. Standing on our porch, silhouetted by the soft glow of the street lamp, was a woman I didn't recognize. She was older, her hair streaked with silver, and she held a simple apple pie in her hands. She looked nervous, shifting her weight from one foot to the other. I opened the door a crack. "Can I help you?" I asked, my voice cautious. She offered a hesitant smile. "I hope I'm not intruding. I'm Eleanor, your grandmother's sister." My breath caught in my throat. Aunt Eleanor. The name was a whisper from my childhood, a character in faded family photographs. She and my mom had a falling out decades ago, a rift so deep and so old that no one ever spoke of it. She was the ghost of family past, a name we were taught to forget. My mom appeared behind me, her face pale. "Eleanor," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Hello, Charlotte," Eleanor said softly, her eyes glistening. "It's been a long time. I know I shouldn't have just shown up like this, but I couldn't bear the thought of another Thanksgiving passing by. I brought pie." For a long moment, nobody moved. The cold November air swirled around us, carrying the scent of apples and cinnamon and something else. Something like hope. Then my mom did something that stunned me. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around her long-lost aunt. Tears streamed down her face as she sobbed into Eleanor's shoulder, years of pent-up grief and anger finally breaking free. My dad came to the door, his own eyes wide with disbelief, and gently placed a hand on my mom's back. We invited Eleanor inside, her presence a gentle disruption to our stagnant misery. She didn't press for details or demand explanations. Instead, she just listened. She sat at our silent table and filled it with stories of her and my grandmother as girls, painting a picture of a past I'd never known. She spoke of her own regrets, of the years she wasted letting pride keep her away. "Life is too short for this," she said, her gaze sweeping over my parents. "It's too short to let love curdle into bitterness. Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay. It's about deciding you won't let it poison your today." Her words were simple, but they landed with the force of a revelation. As she spoke, I watched my parents. I saw the hardness in my mom's eyes begin to soften. I saw my dad reach across the table and tentatively take her hand. He didn't say anything, but he didn't have to. The gesture spoke volumes. It was a truce, an offering, a beginning. Eleanor cut her apple pie, and we ate it in a new kind of quiet. It wasn't the heavy, suffocating silence from before. It was a comfortable, healing silence, filled with the warmth of the pie and the dawning realization that we had been given a second chance. My mom started to talk, really talk, to my dad. She spoke of her hurt, and for the first time, he just listened. He apologized, his voice thick with emotion, for the ways he had failed her. That night, an uninvited guest didn't just bring pie to our house. She brought grace. She reminded us of the true spirit of Thanksgiving, not the perfect turkey or the festive decorations, but the radical act of gratitude, the courage of forgiveness, and the enduring power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. The rest of the evening wasn't a magical fix. The problems didn't all vanish, but something fundamental had shifted. A window had been opened in a room that had been sealed shut for far too long, letting in fresh air and light. We talked late into the night, the three of us and our unexpected miracle worker, Aunt Eleanor. We laughed, we cried, and we started to remember who we were to each other. That Thanksgiving started as the worst of my life, but it ended as the most meaningful. It was a story of redemption, not just for my parents, but for our entire family. It taught me that sometimes the greatest gifts don't come wrapped in fancy paper. They arrive on your doorstep unannounced, holding an apple pie and a heart full of forgiveness, ready to remind you what truly matters.